All right, we're back. Sorry about the delay. I gotta get a better system. I'll get it. I'll get it. Don't worry. We are back. We are getting Doug back. Your boy's here. Your boy's back. See if we get some of you guys back. Oh, I got like 10 loyal listeners besides my friends and family, so that's cool. Take that. Anyways, a lot to get into. We're going to cover the rest of this game, talk about tomorrow's game, betting. We'll get to some fantasy stuff. We'll talk all Sunday, future stuff, what this means. I know. The thing is, it's so easy to get excited about early in the year. One game. TB's back. Thoughts on Eagles-Cowboys game? My first thought, like just general thought, was how the fuck did this game go under? Over under 47.5. Fucking 41 points in the first half. I was kicking myself for not betting the over, and it goes under. Like, think about that. They scored 3 points in the second half. Like, is that not nuts? Ninja, what up, buddy? What are the best trades, pickups for week one? Well, I think the best thing to do is, if you could, trade for A.J. Brown. You're going to get some, like, primetime first game. You're going to get some angry A.J. Brown owners. We want to take advantage of that in fantasy, right? Especially when everyone's watching. Where a guy I wouldn't trade for would be Jevante Williams. Like, I'm a Jevante guy. I've been touting Jevante since June. I'm not trying to take a victory lap, but I kind of am, because not just because Javante's performance wasn't that great, but 2 touchdowns is nice. The snap share, like 80%. Jaden Blue being inactive, and Miles Sanders fumbling. Like, this is Javante's job, dude. This is Jevante Williams' job. And it's a very lucrative job, man. That's a 16 touchdown upside. Cowboys, dude, I don't know, man. The Cowboys defense played well. They played well against the run. They played well. They held the Eagles to 24 points. So, like, I think they played well. I'm not trying to say the Micah Parsons trade was, like, worth it or legit or, like, a good trade. But let's be honest. The Cowboys are going nowhere this year. They're going to be lucky to finish second in that division. Lucky to finish second. A hot take for you. I think there's a chance the Giants could finish ahead of them. Giants have a legit front seven. Probably the best in the league. Hey, Michael O'Brien, my boy. What up, man? Should I trade Devonta Smith? No. See, you don't want to trade guys when their stock's low. Trade for Devonta Smith. Trade for A.J. Brown. Do not panic. You're going to get 60 cents on the dollar, man. Kobe, Tyron Tracy or Jevante Williams this year? I'll be honest. For me, it was close going in, and I know in recent, like, end of the season drafts last week, Tracy was a late 6th, early 7th round pick, mid 7th, and I'd say Williams was late 9th round pick. I had it closer than that. I feel like Tracy is. There's a lot more behind Tracy, and I'm talking about Cam Scatterbo. There is nothing, and I say nothing, behind Jevante Williams unless you're a Jaden Blue guy. And Jaden Blue, I feel like the Cowboys told you all you needed to know. I know it was week 1. Why not make the kid active? He was inactive. They ran this game with 2 running backs. So I'm not saying Jaden Blue is just like nothing, but it's a tall hill to climb to get to Jaden Blue territory. And Miles Sanders has always been a knucklehead, and he fumbled the game away tonight. Would you play Kupp over Williams? I mean, we're talking next week because you can't, Williams already played. We got to look. Cooper Kupp, we got to see how he looks, right? Hurts played smart. I'm impressed. He didn't have an interception. Dude, Hurts always plays smart. I have not been the biggest Hurts fan on record. I give a lot of credit to the O-line, the coaching, the receivers he has. But one thing Jalen Hurts is a smart quarterback. He doesn't really have a lot of bonehead moves. He throws the ball out of bounds when he needs to. He checks it down when he needs to. He runs when he needs to. So I've never not liked Jalen Hurts for that aspect. I just thought of him as like a souped-up, scrambling game manager. Ninja, got to go to school. Starts at 6:15 a.m. Man, I'm sorry. That stinks. College or high school? Because if it's high school, this is like a rated X channel. So Dak played good. That's my quarterback. Yeah, dude. Jalen Hurts, 2 rushing touchdowns. That's what you expect, right? Dak played good in real life, bad for fantasy, right? So let's look at it. 188 yards, nothing. 3 yards rushing. He's slow now. But he will have worse games than this and score twice as many fantasy points. Like, that's all relative, right? Fantasy points can come in different ways. Jevante Williams won't always have 2 touchdowns. Oh, high school. Oh, crap. I got to keep my language good. All right, Ninja. Had CD caught just one of those passes, it's a different ball game. I mean, it's a different ball game in the score, and it's a way different ball game for CD Lamb. You were looking at 200 yards receiving, dude. So, like, wheels up for CD. I still think wheels up for Pickens. I know it looks bad in the box score. I'm not panicking on Pickens. I'm not panicking on any of these guys. I think the only big takeaway is Jevante Williams needs to be thought of as a borderline starter now in fantasy. Do you guys think Carter should be suspended for spitting on Dak? Spitting is the biggest low blow there is. So I don't know how young you guys are, but if you remember, who is it? Roberto Alomar spit on a referee, on an umpire in baseball. It was like 1992. I was born, but I don't remember it live. But he got suspended from baseball. But he spit in his face. Now at least Jaylen Carter spit like on his right here, right? So he won't get suspended because the punishment was already. If it was like the fourth quarter, maybe different because you're getting kicked out of a game with 3 minutes left is different than being kicked out. It was the first play. That was actually before the first play, right? It was when the offenses were on the field. And I guess my thing is, Jaylen Carter, why are you 3 yards in the fucking backfield in the other team's huddle? And that's the thing. This is the reason that the Eagles got Jaylen Carter, because he was a top 3 overall graded player, and they got him at 9th overall because character issues. And it's a good situation. They kept him in line. But clearly, this is like a Dennis Rodman level move. So, what a bum. TB, why did you panic on Pickens, man? I mean, it's not like you drafted him as your wide receiver 2. He was a 5th, 6th round pick. So, we knew it was going to be up and down. With Pickens, we're banking on touchdowns, right? So, he had 2 looks in the end zone. He had another deep shot. There was a double move that Dak was looking at him, and then the safety covered him. So, he didn't throw it. Pickens looked good. Dak had 188 yards passing, man. Like, of course, everyone looked bad besides CD. I'm not worried about Pickens. So, you guys want to move on to any other questions about this game, or should we move on to the Chiefs? Chiefs, Chargers, Friday, Brazil. Hopefully they got that field in order, because if you remember last year, the Brazil game, that was Eagles and Packers. That's the game that Jordan Love blew out his knee, and the field was just a mess. It was like Hope Solo's pussy. And if those of you that haven't seen Hope Solo, if you know who Hope Solo is, she's a professional soccer player for the women's Olympic team, USA. Just disgusting pussy. This thing is fucking huge, man. Messy, gross. Her shit got leaked like 4 years ago. You can look it all up. Hope Solo pussy. Check it out. Don't leave the stream, though, but check that out like in a separate window. And you're all going to comment saying, this is insane. I've never seen such a big pussy. The queefs. What about Jevante Williams? I've gone over that. Jevante Williams was one of my 10-pillar players, one of my most drafted players. I felt like the value was too great, and he looks better. He doesn't look like back to what he was as a rookie. He looks good, though. And it's not about him looking good. It's about what happened behind him. Miles Sanders fumbles. Jaden Blue inactive. Jevante Williams is a bell cow. Bell cow. RB2. Drafted him as a borderline RB4. Love that. Anyways, go look up Hope Solo. But when maybe Blue comes back, but what are they going to trust a rookie? I don't know. This guy looks all right. So for the time being, we're in on Jevante Williams, and it looks like a steal. So should we move? There's nothing really to talk about the Eagles. Look at this. There's nothing here, man. Zach Bond had a good game. Jalen Hurts, 152 yards, but 62 on the ground, 2 tutties. I won't take Williams yet, because when the Eagles' D-line got better, Williams didn't get much. I get it, but he was still playing against the Eagles, right? Like, there's better days ahead, better matchups ahead. And for me, it's just he's playing 80% of the snaps. Looks like that going forward. Passing down back, goal line back. That's high-value touches. I'm not saying he's like a top 12 back. He's maybe not even a top 24 back, but he's a startable dude. And you were drafting him as like RB 38. So like that's value to me. Start Olave, Ridley, or Debo, full PPR, my boy. Andre, what up, man? One of the three. Olave is my first choice. It's tough. Olave and Ridley are close. Typically, I would go Olave depending on the matchup, but this is a bad matchup for Ridley. Ridley will still do good because they're going to move him around, and Surtain does not really like shadow. But to play it safe, I think I'm just going to go with Olave, who's also going to get a shitload of targets and doesn't have a good cornerback guarding him. Pickens cooked me, man. I mean, dude, if you think Pickens cooked you, A.J. Brown cooked people. Devonta Smith cooked people. Dak Prescott cooked people. Saquon had a decent game. But, again, Pickens seemed bad, but A.J. and Devonta Smith made Pickens' game look good. It's early in the year, right? Like, this is going to happen. It's just, if this happens on a Sunday when there's, 8 of your other players going at noon, it's not as like heartbreaking because you have other guys that might go off for 25. On a Thursday night, opening night, and A.J. Brown or George Pickens gives you essentially a goose egg. At least Pickens got you 6 in PPR. It's way more. That's why I'm doing this show, right? We're talking like, I'm not going to do this show every Thursday night after Thursday Night Football. Maybe I might actually. If you guys keep watching, liking, subscribing, chatting, being awesome and kind to each other, I'll probably do this show every fucking night because I enjoy this shit. My wife's in bed, and what am I going to do? She's like, you're too drunk to fuck me. And that's actually not accurate. I could. And I would still come. It would just take like 20 minutes. This is what we do around here. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. And I'm wearing a Ricky Williams jersey still. Smells good. I got some Jacquard Noir. Moral of the story, draft Dallas RBs. Hey-oh. Well, when they're at that value. W. I know it's early in the season, but AJ should not look that bad at this point. I don't know. I have to look at the All-22. So I subscribe to I get every game, like coaches film I watch. It's not available yet. I watch all that. Just so you know, I'm not just a guy. I do play 25 leagues, but I do actually watch the film. And it's hard to see on the broadcast, like if AJ Brown was open. I saw him dogging a few routes, and I just know he looked fat. He looked fucking fat. So, and that's coming from me, dude. I'm not skinny, but he looked fat. He's a prime athlete. He's 28 years old. I'm 37. I'm allowed to be fat. Week 1 is always fluky, especially Thursday night. Story's in the chat. What up, Story? Jacquard Noir, the Seward Special, that weird motherfucker. Now, everyone, Michael Story in the chat. This is a legend. This is the partner. Story, thoughts on Jevante Williams. I've been talking him up. How many episodes did I talk about Jevante Williams on this podcast? And you rolled your eyes at me. Explain to them how many times I talked about Jevante Williams, and you rolled your eyes. He's a PP of mine. Just eat that one. What up, Ryan? We got, he's out of shape, man. That's not good. Now, do we know A.J. Brown's out of shape, or am I just overreacting to him looking fat? He's always a thicker guy, but thick and fat are different, and I'm going to say he looked thick. I don't want to go on record saying A.J. Brown's fat. He shows up at my house and, beats my ass. Mike said, sure did. I did talk Jevante Williams up. Anyways, Dak Prescott is the worst Dallas quarterback of my lifetime. You know what? You guys have actually had really good quarterbacks. And it's not true but you've had Romo. You had Aikman. Who was in between those two? Who was the quarterback? Look at the film. I'm about to watch the film. I didn't want to watch the highlights because you can't see much. Who was the quarterback before Dak? In between Aikman and Dak? It was Romo, but not besides Dak, Romo, and Aikman. Who else did we have? Vinny Testaverde? Remember that. Whoa. Those routes. Yeah, he wasn't really running routes. It was rough, man. Story's already taking the L on Jevante. You have a share of Jevante because I kind of got that in your head. So Jevante, is Jevante on the waiver wire in a league? That should never happen. No, besides Romo, though, who else was there? There had to be someone else. I don't think Romo took over right after Aikman. Aikman retired in, 98. Drew Bledsoe. Oh, cooked-ass Drew Bledsoe, yeah. Cunningham. So it was just like a bunch of veterans that sucked. I know there was a Testaverde year in there. Ooh, Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is a backup. I don't mind Cooper Rush. Matt Castle. Andre, how do you feel about Genty this year? Are you in? Lukewarm on Genty, so I'm fine. I don't know. I don't have to really take. I know he's going to get a fuckload of work. I'm not worried about that. I guess my concern is the touchdown upside. And my concern is, do I want to take him over Derrick Henry? Do I want to take him over Chase Brown? Do I want to take him over Jonathan Taylor, right? Like, typically, yes, over the back two guys. 2004. Dak played good. CD didn't step up. Yeah, CD fucked up, bro. Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson, Vinny Testaverde. Quincy Carter, athletic dude. Chad Hutchinson, he's never going to win and happen. Yeah, he's just like what you call unclutch, right? Steph Curry clutch, Dak not clutch. Dude, I'm a Bears fan, bro. So, like, Dak Prescott's better than any quarterback we have ever had. Like, is that even debatable? Jay Cutler? Like, Dak is similar to Jay Cutler, but Dak is better than Jay Cutler. What do we got in the chat? We got Dak or Jay Cutler? Smoking Jay, taking plays off, fucking smoking on the sideline. It was 3 key drops, Andre. So, Kyle Orton. Dude, Kyle Orton was the ultimate game manager. Jim Miller. We had a lot of game managers. Rex Grossman was, like, supposed to be a game manager, and then you throw 3 picks. You think Jay Cutler's better? You're saying Jay Cutler's better than Dak Prescott? We're going to have to look at this, guys, and then we'll get to the Friday game. Jake. We're going to have to look at this. I know it's hard to compare eras, right? So Cutler threw a lot of picks, bro. Cutler 74 and 79. We got 74 and 79. 227 tutties and 160 picks. I hear push from Nathan. Well, Trubisky, Jesus, let's not talk about that. Yeah, see, Angel's a Packers fan. He loves Jay Cutler. Hey, we should have beat you in that NFC Championship game, by the way. But Staubach, Danny White, Troy Aikman, Tony Romo. Well, okay. Well, you're talking about like all-timers, man. That's like saying Jordan Love's the worst Packers quarterback. Dak is fine. We're gonna settle this though with just stats. I know it's different with eras. We're going. I'm drunk, dude. Jay Cutler. 227 touchdowns and 160 picks. 5 under 500 for his career. 5 games under. We'll take a look at Dak. Guaranteed better record. 100% better record. Probably 20 over. 30 over. 76 and 46. We got 213 touchdowns and 82 picks. Different era, I get it. So please redact that Dak is worse than Jay Cutler. Mark Sanchez, butt fumble, baby. Dak has no mobility anymore. That is his problem. He's got to adjust because Dak was not a Jalen Hurts, but he was closer to Jalen Hurts' mobility and athleticism in his early days than he is now. Like early days, he was closer to Hurts than he is currently to what he is now. And what he is now is just a fucking statue. He's closer to Joe Flacco, man. Like that 3-yard scramble he had, like he did pretty good eluding in the pocket, and then just like he's running through mud, man. First game in a while that I felt like Dak didn't sell the game in the clutch moments. Dak played fine. It wasn't Dak. Catch the ball, CD. If CD Lamb catches that ball, we're having a way different conversation. There was multiple that he dropped, but like just the one big one, I get he had to lay out for it. Dude, Justin Jefferson makes that catch, right? And I'm not trying to slander CD, but like the top dudes make that. Drake London is not dropping that ball, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Whedon, that's a name from the past. Kit Mittens says, I love your name, by the way, Kit Mittens. That's a Sunny reference, right? I got a Sunny shirt right in the background. I didn't say Dak was worse than Cutler. I said Dak is the worst true starting quarterback that Dallas has ever had, not counting the years we didn't have a real quarterback. Yeah, that's just like a weird, like, rules, right? Like when you didn't have one, he's like your worst franchise quarterback. And as a Bears fan, we've never had a franchise quarterback. Jay Cutler would be the one. And if Jay Cutler was the one in the Matrix, the movie would have ended 20 minutes into the movie. He'd just be smoking cigarettes. Actually, you know what Jay Cutler would have done? You know the woman in red in the Matrix? I think she was wearing red. That was really hot. Jay Cutler would have stopped and just gone and fucked her. Like, so the movie stops with just a sex scene with Jay Cutler fucking the woman in red. Actually would have made the Matrix pretty sweet. Although I love that movie, so. Caleb, I hope Caleb's the guy. So I don't think so. He has better numbers than Romo. No, Pickens actually doesn't really drop passes. So maybe this is good for Pickens, right? Throw the ball to Pickens. He's going to start getting frustrated. No. What is this? Hall baked cake? Like I said, I've had 15 beers. It's hard for me to read this. Hall baked cake. Good point, man. George Pickens wasn't a part of the game plan as much as we thought he was going to be. He did get an end zone target. He got 6 targets. Like, there was the play I talked about earlier. It was a double move that Dak did the little pump fake to get him open, and then the safety covered him, like slid over, so they didn't get a target on that play. But there was some he was schemed up on, and they're going to look back at the film and realize, like, George Pickens was single covered on 50% of the plays. Throw the ball up to that guy. Go balls, outs. That's the man. I had Pickens last year on my team. He was clutch for me. I mean, early in the year, Pickens was good. Later in the year, it was bad. I still trusted Pickens' ability. Maybe it's going to be more of the same. I thought it was a value in the 5th or 6th round. So we'll call that maybe a whiff. We'll call Jevante Williams' call a fucking hit. So, you want to get on the Friday game? You want to get to the Friday? Cheifs, Chargers. We'll look at the line. We'll look at all that good stuff. We got artwork. Jalen Hurts turned into Jaquan Hurtley. I don't know what that means. Can you give me a little reference point for that one? Because anyways, Williams is gonna get cheap TDs like last year. Yeah, let's go. Jevante Williams, baby. Oh, got a little highlights going on the thing. There's a... Oh, that's one of Devonta Smith's 3 catches. Anyways, we're going to go to the docket here. What do we want to talk about here? You want to talk about Chiefs Chargers? You got questions, fantasy questions. Talk about the game, gambling. Barkley is a majestic beast when he's running. He didn't quite look that majestic, but yeah, he is. All right, 158 people in here. What up? This is the late night show. I'm going to try to do these a lot more if we get 160 people watching at once. 6 likes, though. Kind of weak. Again, we 3, 4, 5 shows a week. Sunday morning, going to do one, my gambling segment every Friday. Going to get a lot of stuff. Subscribe. Check out the channel. Tell your friends. Chiefs are done. Chargers win. Wow. So Chargers are plus money. So how much work does Najee get tomorrow? I would say Najee gets 8 to 10 carries. I think Hampton gets 14 to 16. Oh, that's from Story. Story, you know that. You would probably say the same thing, right? 8 to 10 carries, 8 to 10 touches. I love kitten mittens, man. That's a Sunny reference, right? Go Browns, JG. If you're a Browns fan, I truly feel sorry for you, sir. Like, again, Bears fan sucks. The Browns haven't been good since Jim Brown. I'm starting Worthy. Do you think he could get more than Worthy's going to get at least 6 targets, couple carries, end arounds. Yeah, Worthy's not getting an AJ Brown game. Let me tell you what. 8+ targets. Yeah, I need a lock. A lock, huh? I would say Bengals -5.5, bro. That's a lock. I don't even bet on lines very often. That's a lock. We're betting against the Browns. What's the line of the Steelers? I think the Steelers, we'll take a little look here. I'll pull this up. Line of the Steelers. I think it's Steelers -3. Even though they're at the Jets. So, yeah, Steelers are -3 on the road. I think I like the Jets in that game. What do you guys think? 8 to 10 sounds right for Najee Harris, Story says. AJ Frown. Yeah, AJ Fat. How would we call him that? Bears under 8.5 wins. Won't make playoffs. That's a lock. Probably. I mean, both those are good. The Bears can still have a good season and win 8 games with all things considered. That division, young roster, young nucleus, first-time coach. Bet that T. Higgins gets hurt first game, can't stay healthy. It's kind of been the case in his career, right? What happened to the cowgirl? Oh, talking about my wife that was drafting earlier. She's sleeping. She was looking pretty fine, dude. Giant cans, right? Giant cans. I talk about my wife in such respectful ways. The door's closed. The thing is, I would say that if she was right next to me. I don't know why I whispered that. Lay some wood, bro. Dude, she knows I've had 15 fucking beers. Unless she's had, like, over 8, she's probably just going to be like, I'll still finish, bro. Just take a while. What do you think of Harvey? Is he a league winner? Hey, Caleb Garland. What's up, Garland? Story, answer that one in the chat for me because he is an RJ Harvey guy. Mike Story is my partner, by the way, the guy with the handsome picture with him. Look at how dressed up he is. I've never been that dressed up in my life. I got a fucking jersey on. This is actually a nice jacket. But he knows his shit. I'm going to say probably not a league winner. Could get to take him in the 5th round. But will probably pay off later in the season. So, Story, give him your take on RJ Harvey in the chat. Dobbins is so good, but he's hurt maybe. I wouldn't say Dobbins is so good. How am I feeling about Ladd? Looks like a lawyer. Yeah, Story is kind of like a lawyer, dude. I'm semi-professional. Well, I'm a professional fanatic. You're just a professional, even though you are a professional fanatic. So, you're asking, I need a woman with nice cans. Kit mittens. I mean, if indecent proposal, bro, if you got like 100 grand, you have her for a weekend. Maybe even 10 grand. I don't know. Depends what you look like. Are you clean? How old are you? She's got to go for it too. So this man asks, what is this? Feerick, how are we feeling about Ladd? Is this for Ladd for week 1 or Ladd for the season? Because I do like him for week 1. Who wins Sunday between Texans and Rams? Now that Texans and Rams is a game. Texans at Rams. We're going to get the lines up here. Rams -3 at home. So pretty much a pick 'em, man. Standard. We got the Rams at home. Whew. I'm tempted to take the Texans, man, and the points. If it goes to +3.5, I would go Texans. There's a lot of... Dude, Matt Stafford is not like... Has he practiced more than 2 days? Hampton is Rookie of the Year. I think that's Cam Ward. Love them. Can I get an opinion on Calvin Ridley? Ninja, I thought you had to go to school in the morning. I love Calvin Ridley. Week 1 might be a little rough against Surtain in Denver. I love Calvin Ridley this year. I think he's one of the safest bets at his ADP. It was mid-6th round, end of 6th round, sometimes bleeding into the 7th round of PPR. Yeah. That pass catching role is so valuable in Sean Payton's offense, and you want pieces of it. Well put, Story. That's our lawyer. That's Lawyer Story. That's the new name of the show. I'll take the Texans. I'll take the Texans in the points. I think what's going to happen is going to move to -2.5, which is like a sucker line, and everyone's just going to bet. -2.5 is going to be like begging people to bet on the Rams. So that makes me like the Texans more. I feel like they should be -3.5. Texans have questions, man. Christian Kirk's out now. So they're rolling with 2 rookie receivers besides Nico Collins. He says I do. It'll be Cam Ward. He's a sneaky rusher, too. That's exactly what I said. We were reading each other's mind. Let's see. Who's Ted McMillan is maybe a dark horse for Rookie of the Year. Hampton. Obviously, Genty. Kit Mittens. By the way, Shedeur Sanders was never a first-round quarterback. There isn't an ante that would give up a first-round pick for Shedeur if they were GM. You're speaking Story's language because he was not surprised at all that he fell past the 3rd round. I don't think anybody thought he was going to be a 5th-round pick, though. But he does look fucking terrible. He's not good, man. Matthew Golden is going to get some nice targets with Reed and Watson hurt. Well, Watson's not coming back the rest of the year. It's also Dontavian Wicks is probably hurt. So here's the problem there for Matthew Golden. I love Matthew Golden this year. I didn't like him a month ago, but I feel like 8th round was good value for him because Reed is playing through an injury all year. Tucker Kraft is the wide receiver 1 as a tight end in Green Bay. Now, that's what I'm never going to go off. Yeah, Jalen Noel is the dude. That's the guy that's going to fill in the Christian Kirk spot. Nice call, Story. That's the dude, man. Because Higgins' profile is more as an X receiver, outside guy. Noel is the one-to-one replacement for Kirk. And that injury looks like it said he's missing week 1, possibly beyond. So that could land him on the IR. And, like, that's going to be the dude. And I believe that, Story, you liked Noel more than you liked Higgins coming out, right? Same school, 1 round difference, right? 2nd to 3rd round. What's going to happen with Cam Scattaboo? Wait and see for Cam Scattaboo. You're going to have to wait a while, dude. Because they're going to be playing Devin Singletary a bit. And obviously the starter's Tyron Tracy. But I would never get rid of him. He's a handcuff, and he's a guy that's going to take over the role mid-season, I would say. Kraft's going to be a monster, though. I can't disagree. Kraft is like the monster. I am so excited. My dick is already half hard waiting for the Tucker Kraft Sunday 2-tutty game. 6 catches, 90 yards, 2 tutties. You heard it here first. It's not that crazy because we just saw Jevante Williams almost have 3 touchdowns. And we all know Tucker Kraft's a badass baller, dude. It's so hard to get on NFL games. Whoever sets the lines is genius. College is so much easier. College is definitely easier than the NFL. That's why you bet props, man. Especially if you play fantasy. This is mostly a fantasy show. Bet props because the edges on the prop lines is not as sharp. The game lines, especially the totals, over-unders are just, look at tonight's game, man. 41 points in the first half. Over-under 47.5. Game goes under. Like, do the math. How do they score 3 points in that second half? Wild, dude. Dom Bond says Christian Watson is healing up fine. Dom, what's your over-under for Christian Watson games played this year? I'm setting it at like 3.5, and I'm taking the under, so. Story said I did. The Texans took Higgins earlier, and I get why, but Noel had better film. Same school. Yeah, I feel like Noel seems like a more pro-ready player. And, I mean, Higgins has a size speed combination. But Higgins is, Noel's like quick. Do you do fantasy with fans? I have done a fan league for like my friend, like close friends that I actually know in the past for the channel. That was 3 years ago. Next year, if this actually catches on, then we'll do some shit, man. I'm in for all this stuff. Do maybe a little tournament, something like that, dude. Because some of you guys, I've seen a lot of you guys have come back, and we're looking at what, 12:46 at least Central Time on a Thursday. So I like that. I'm in for fan leagues, dude. Good. Oh, yeah, fantasy baseball. That's the most pure version of fantasy because it's just compiled stats all year, dude. I love that. Ninja says, sign me up. Well, Ninja, aren't you like 16, though? You got to be at least 18. I'm used to saying that. Ah, shit. Love your channel. Thanks, Dom. Tell your friends. Tell them. Subscribe. 11 likes in here. 131 people in here. Let's go. I'm about to lock in on Kraft. Yeah, I don't know what his number is week 1. His like receiving number. What's the word on Luther Burden? Well, the fan league's gonna have to wait for next year because the season already started. Luther Burden is definitely a wait and see. As of now, Zacchaeus is playing ahead of Luther Burden. And even if he was going to play in the Zacchaeus role, you're looking at 4th option in the offense. So it's all about Caleb. Can he even get the role? What does it look like? But, I mean, I've heard a lot of mixed. Some people think Luther Burden's trash at receiver. I've also heard experts say he was the best receiver in the draft class, which sounds kind of crazy to me, but I've heard both. Kraft the Packer, he rocks. Yeah, Tucker Kraft, the dude. He'll be a household name in about 3 weeks when he has 5 touchdowns after 3 weeks. Sounds crazy, right? Just like all my Jevante Williams love, all off season, sounded crazy. This is not crazy. I was much more confident about Tucker Kraft than Jevante Williams. What defense looks the most promising? Fantasy, real life? Obviously Denver, but let me try to think. I think the Seahawks have a low-key, impressive, upstart young unit that could surprise people. So for fantasy, that looks like a stream. Week 1, they have the Niners, which isn't great. But I'm into the Seahawks defense. I'm into the Seahawks this year winning like 8 or 9 games. Story says Washington. Ooh, well, I mean, it can't be worse than last year's story. Oh, you're talking for week 1. Well, Lions defense, that's a nice call from Marcus because they had, 16, 14 players, 16, 18 players on IR last year, mostly on defense. And you get Hutchinson back. We'll see how he looks. And they were bad, but they were still only like 24th in the league in defense with like literally a shell of themselves. Yeah, they lost Aaron Glenn, but that's one of my worries about the pass catchers. I haven't invested too much in the Lions pass catchers, receivers that is, and same with Laporta, is that defense is going to go from bottom 5 in the league to probably top 15, which is going to and they like to run the ball in Detroit, so. Most offensive turnover team. I'm going to say the Bears from 2008. Oh, I'm kidding. Who has the most turnovers? Story, give me the Giants. The Giants could. I love the Giants. The Giants' defensive line is the best in the NFL. All right. That's like the best defensive line in the NFL. Their front 7 is like probably top 5. Their linebackers are above average. I think Denver is going to have the most turnovers. But besides Denver, that's like the easy pick. I'm trying to think of a defense off the top of my head. Yeah, Giants front 7's nasty, man. Giants are going to be a scrappy-ass team this year. I don't know. I think that's why they're sticking with the veteran. So, Story, on top of your head, give me a defense that's going to be opportunistic, good for fantasy, even though they might allow a lot of points. Chargers, I don't know how many playmakers they have, though. I know they have a good system. Like the Chargers get more with less, right? That's what Harbaugh does. Like he could take a high school defense and still make it like 22nd in the NFL. Trying to think. I mean, the Vikings defense. I would say the Vikings defense in terms of opportunistic plays. Any Brian Flores team is going to just put pressure on the quarterback, exotic blitzes. They gave up some big plays, but probably can't get them. But the Eagles will have to generate turnovers. Well, they didn't do it tonight. They didn't look good. Jaylen Carter was a big loss. But all right, what we want to talk about Sunday's games, fantasy impacts, plays, streaming defenses. Where I'm going to do a whole show on Sunday morning for start sit, but I can still answer the questions now. Again, not necessarily my forte, but I can give you my take on it. What about HN in the PPR league? I mean, you're starting him like he's your 2nd round pick. At value, I don't mind it. I mean, he could explode, but his knee could explode too. So, what backs would you take before him? So freaking pumped for tomorrow's game. Yeah, I mean tonight's game was good. Let's be honest. The problem is the second half was a huge letdown. Rain delay and 3 points, but like the first half was super exciting. What back should I take before him? PPR, Chase Brown, and then everyone before that, Genty. I would take the top 3, Genty, Chase Brown. You got a question with Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. They're all in the same tier there. Oh, CMC. Wouldn't take CMC over anymore over Genty. All right, here's the thing. So I don't know if you guys heard the report. CMC, no reports all year besides all preseason, all offseason about his Achilles, his calf, his knee. And then today, of course, he's limited in practice with the calf. Now everyone's freaking out. So, of course, Gibbs. Yeah, I'm not even talking about the first 3. That's just obvious. What do we think about McCaffrey? You think it's noise? You think it's Kyle Shanahan playing games? Or is he like scared about what happened last year where he didn't report anything about McCaffrey and like everyone lost their mind in fantasy and betting and shit because of him? So are we taking this? Is this fake news or is this real news? Because I have 3 McCaffrey shares. We're talking just redraft, 3 McCaffrey shares, and I have 8 or 9 Brian Robinson Jr. shares. So for me, it'd actually be a net win if McCaffrey was out for the year. Donbon, he's hurt. Real news. I mean, we don't. It's hard to say that like for certain unless are you the trainer? Do we know for sure? It's more likely than not precautionary, but I wouldn't rule anything out. That's probably the right call, Story. I think if anything we could say it's not what you want to hear. You know what I mean? Like if you bang a girl and she's like, you do a raw and she's like, I might have something. I'm going to the doctor. Like you'd rather have her not say anything at all. When she says she has to go see, it's not good. Would you rather just have her say I'm clean and I don't have to go to the doctor? So CMC is going to the doctor to check for an STD. Most likely he's clean, but there's a chance. And you fucked her without a condom. And we took CMC in the first round without a condom. No. Taking McCaffrey in the first round and not drafting Brian Robinson Jr. is without a condom, right? So you should have used a condom if you draft CMC. So you're only getting this take from me right here. Can we just like patent that? Like kitten mittens, right? Patent. Don't take CMC without protection. He'd rather have a warning, yeah. My favorite team's the Bears, but I'm not really. I'm into gambling and making money in fantasy. That could change when the Bears are good in 2 years. It would be good for a B-Rob bet and all of my Brian Robinson best ball shares because that would actually make his value increase. But I'm not too worried about CMC, man. That's just me. This is like, would you rather take a bullet to the head or 5 to the gut and bleed to death? Could be running the CMC injury roulette all year. That's a really good take. Which one would I rather have, dude? 1 to the head? Or would I rather think about it and feel the pain? I think I'd rather feel the pain because you know what, Story? Now, I'm not really into BDSM too much, although I've done a lot of that crazy shit. There's a fine line between pleasure and pain. So, maybe there's a little pleasure in getting shot and bleeding out. I'm in rare form. Rare fucking form. I can't believe my Cowboys. Roger, really? You can't believe that game tonight? Like, that just seemed like a typical Cowboys loss to me. Although, promising, man. Defense looked good. Dak looked healthy. CD looked good besides his hands. So, Seth. What up, Seth? I'm curious your take on K9 and Charbonnet in Seattle split workload. Story, I want to hear your take on this. Hey, soon enough, we're going to be doing these on Zoom calls. Way better quality, just so you know. My boy Story. And it'll be much smoother. So thanks for sticking around on my stupid phone. But my take on K9 and Charbonnet, my take is 70% Kenneth Walker. While Kenneth Walker's healthy, 70%. I think Charbonnet is the number 2 handcuff. If you want to count Montgomery as a handcuff, which, I mean, I don't even count Charbonnet as a handcuff because you're talking 8th round. But Montgomery is the best back if the starter gets hurt, right? Then you have Charbonnet. Then you have, believe it or not, Algier. But Algier's less, Bijan's less likely to get hurt. But Algier, I think, is the 3rd best. Ray Davis is in there. What about Tank? Tank Bigsby? Not a fan. Not a fan. I think he's a good runner. But I think he has trash-ass hands, and he has 9 receptions in 2 years as a pro. So I play a lot of PPR, and you just aren't going to get any value if you're not catching the ball unless you're scoring 12 touchdowns. And ETN's there. They like Tootin. We still don't know if that offense is going to be efficient, how pass-heavy are they going to be. Story, it's Walker's job to lose. I know it's a new regime there, but Sharp isn't good enough to overtake him. They might lighten Walker's workload, but it won't be a split backfield. That's probably smart. Like 60-40. I think 60-40 would be the ideal split because you get Charbonnet just enough involved. Unfortunately, 60-40, I believe Charbonnet, I think Charbonnet is a better goal line back. So that would in turn take a lot of the touchdown equity away. But that would keep Walker healthy. But the reason you're drafting Walker, he's a great talent, but you're drafting him for his, I would say, borderline workhorse role. And if he's getting a 60-40 workload on a Seattle team that, yes, wants to run the ball, but is not projected to score a lot of points, you're not getting value if it's 60-40. You're 70-30 is where you're getting value or at cost. So that's the worry for me. It's Walker's last year on a rookie deal. He's going to explode this year, top 9 if CMC breaks. I think that the Seahawks would trade Kenneth Walker because they could be competitive this year, but there's zero world that the Seahawks are like winning anything like meaningful, right? They could win their division, but are they going to the Super Bowl? Are they winning the Super Bowl? Teams need to start thinking of like what makes my chances best to win the Super Bowl, to be a top 4 team. And Kenneth Walker, and they have Charbonnet, dude. They have Charbonnet. He's fine. He's good. Younger. Trade Kenneth Walker. Get a 3rd round pick. Bears should trade for Kenneth Walker right now. I give up a 3rd rounder for him, dude, because we actually, I'm not saying we have a chance, but we have a better roster than the Seahawks. 60-40, 65-35 sounds right. But that means Walker is probably right at value where you drafted him. At 60-40 is tough. In the 4th round to get value. His talent's great, but what matters more, right? His talent or the offense? Now, we don't know how good the offense is. Offensive line is improved, but Story, he's a tiny dancer. Cue the music. Cowboys should trade for Walker. Did you not watch Jevante Williams tonight? Come on, Dom. Mundo Culp, Eagles were getting calls all night. Actually, dude, I thought the first half the Cowboys were getting more calls personally. But I mean, I hope it's not a new Chiefs situation, right? Hey, we're on a goal for 2,000 subs by Sunday. Dude, we are at 1855. Just 145 more away. I got to do a couple more live shows to get that up. Does Terry's value increase this year as opposed to last year with more time with Jaden Daniels, or does Debo eat some of the targets? I don't think Debo's a receiver that necessarily eats into the alpha's targets. He's always been a complimentary piece. My big worry, and the worry is Debo eats into the backfield. And especially with the trade of Brian Robinson, he's eating into whatever that pie is that's going to be split 4 ways. That's my worry would be, I don't think he's, I mean, Terry McLaurin's a stud, man. He's the one guy there. Williams is horrible. Won't last 12 games. Maybe not. I don't know. But the Cowboys, they've made their trades, right? I don't think they're making another trade. And it'd be stupid for them to trade assets for a running back when we all know, and maybe Jerry doesn't know, Cowboys have no hope this year. Like, they had no hope before the Parsons trade. No hope, dude. I give you 10 teams, maybe 10 teams that have a chance to win the Super Bowl, 8 or 10, and they are not really close to that list. We got Story with some deep insight here. Yeah, pick up Najee Harris if available, Kareem Hunt, drop your kicker, and then pick them up later. That's a good strategy, and we always employ that strategy, right? You just take backups on teams, especially if you're streaming kicker. Now, if you have Brandon Aubrey or one of these elite kickers, quote-unquote elite kickers, keep them. But if you're streaming a kicker, we don't even know who the right kicker is. So pick up a backup on these primetime games of your format. Yahoo allows it. And then put him on your bench. Kareem Hunt tomorrow, for instance. If Pacheco gets hurt, you have a potential starter. If he doesn't get hurt, you just drop Kareem Hunt. Nothing happened. Pick up your kicker. Good call. They were actually in the game lots. What does that mean? They were actually in the game, but okay. Yeah, the Cowboys were actually in the game. I'm not saying that we just do that roster. The Cowboys just don't have the roster to win. I mean, I'm talking win big, like win the Super Bowl, go to the Super Bowl. We're talking about Bills. We're talking about Ravens. We're talking about Chiefs. We're talking about Eagles, right? Washington, if you want to go down that road. Lions, elite teams. Chargers, Broncos. I can go down the line of like some good Texans, Rams. Heyo, good night, Story. That's my dude. That's the dude. So, knows a lot more about football than me. More about college. I know more about the NFL. He's very handsome, though, and he knows his shit. So, looks like a lawyer, right? Actually have a real shot this year. Cowboys could be average. That's their ceiling. Yeah, I mean, they could win 9 games. But, like, again, that's called football hell. You're not getting good draft capital every year after the season. You're hoping. I mean, they have a franchise quarterback, but he's 31, 32 years old. I don't hate the Cowboys roster. I don't like trading Micah Parsons. I guess they got 2 first-rounders, but the problem is Packers are going to be a top 5, top 7 team, maybe top 8 the next 2 years. So those draft picks are going to be like number 24, number 25. It's not like they're getting true number ones. Number one is like what the Travis Hunter trade, right? Like those picks, possibly from Jacksonville, depending on what you think of Jacksonville, could be top 10. Like Jacksonville could be a bottom 10 team. The Packers aren't being bottom 10. I hate the fucking Packers. Fuck them. Oh, thanks, Steph. Good night. I'm still going to be on here a little bit longer. The hell happened with A.J. Brown? Unique. Yeah, that's a big question. He looked fat. We talked about this earlier. He looked fat. He looked disinterested. They didn't even look his way. That's a wacky one, man, because this was a rather competitive game. So the fact that, like, they didn't look his way, and the one reception he had was on the last pass attempt, second to last play of the game, besides the kneel downs, is just fucking weird. I mean, Dak is still like a top half quarterback. It's not great, but it's not like your quarter. What are you supposed to do? Move on from Dak and just start drafting rookies? AJ is going to be the worst second round pick this year. People took AJ over Ladd. Yeah, in retrospect, especially in PPR, that looks a little wacky because AJ Brown's never really been a PPR merchant. Although he's had years with 100 catches, but like he's usually a 90 catch guy, 80 catch, big play, 1,200, 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. Where Ladd seems like a 100 catch plus dude every year. And that's kind of what you're looking for, right? Touchdowns come and go, big plays come and go, but look at CeeDee Lamb tonight, right? Bad game, dropped a couple passes, 120 yards, 7 catches, 19 points PPR. So, and I was one of those that was taking AJ Brown over Ladd McConkey. So I'm still not giving up on AJ Brown, dude. He's a fucking hell of a player. I don't, unless you're saying he's done. How old is AJ Brown? 29? Yeah, Hurts praised AJ's patience and said it was the most important catch of the game. Now, I've never been the biggest Jalen Hurts guy. I will say this about Jalen Hurts. Guy's a class act, right? He says the right thing. He does the right thing. In the interview post-game with Saquon and Lisa Salters, whoever the fuck that broad was, he talked about how they needed to keep their composure. He never once called out Jaylen Carter. Like, if it was me, bro, I'd be like, that dude needs to fucking stop spitting on people and get your head in the game. So he's a professional. And he has to say that. A.J. Brown was disgruntled last year, but winning solves everything. If this keeps up and they're 4-3, which I'm not projecting is going to happen, but then it's going to be an issue. If they're 5-0, you're not going to hear a peep from A.J. Brown. He's just going to, after 2,000-yard season. Oh, you talking about Saquon? No, Barkley shouldn't have been the last pick of the first round, because here's the thing. It's not going to be like last year. He doesn't look as explosive. Like, it's one game. He won't be as explosive, dude. That's a lot of work. What he did show is 4 catches. We know Barkley's a great receiver. I expect double the output receiving and 70% of the output rushing and probably the same amount of rushing touchdowns. So you're looking at what? 1,300 rushing yards, 60 catches, let's say 50 catches, 300, 400 yards receiving. So we're going to have 1,700 total yards and 14 touchdowns. That's still not an end of the first round pick. That's still super safe, dude. And, here's the thing. Squeaky wheel, baby. Squeaky wheel. A.J. Brown, it's going to happen eventually for him. Like, this was just a weird game. And the thing is, it's not like Devonta Smith killed it. And if their strategy all year is going to be to throw to Dallas Goedert and check down to Saquon Barkley, they're in for a world of hurt. Because their defense is going to take a step back this year. They lost a lot of guys. They got to throw the ball. They didn't throw the ball downfield at all. The only time they threw it downfield was to Jahan Dotson on that 50-yard bomb. You say no way Saquon has 14 TDs, Dom? Like, how is that a fucking bold statement? Mr. Beat, no, Dak did spit first, but he didn't spit at Carter. I mean, maybe he did, but like he didn't actually hit him. I'm not trying to, like, we can break this video down if you guys want. So, we actually break this down. If AJ's playing like that in the box and we stacked after 2K a year, the drop-off is insane. So, Dom, are you trying to say that there's no way Saquon has 14 touchdowns this year? Like, I'm talking about 14 total. Probably more like 12, but like that's still a first round pick. I'm still happy with I got Saquon at 6 a couple times. I think I took him at 4 once in full PPR, but if AJ's playing like that, the box is going to be stacked. Yeah, good call. I mean, they need something, dude, because Devontae Smith isn't really a take the ceiling off the top off the defense, but yeah, Saquon will have almost a touchdown. Dude, it's pretty automatic at this point. 14 is a lot, don't get me wrong, but the question is, I wouldn't say that. I think he's going to miss some games. He'll probably average roughly around 0.8 to 1 touchdown a game. Total, receiving, rushing. 10 TD, 1,100 yards is what I'm thinking. 30-plus receptions. I think it's going to be more like 50 receptions, dude. We see Saquon have 80 receptions before in a year. So the last year was 30, I think, 32 catches. That was super low, dude. They just hand the ball up the middle to him. They have to keep him fresh, and the way to keep him fresh, if you want to get the ball to the guy, get him outside. Reception is generally getting tackled by a corner or a safety. Running up the middle is tackled by a 300-pound mammoth. Ooh, would you trade Drake? Would you play Drake May? It's from Colin C. Would you play Drake May the rest of the season with an easy schedule over Dak in fantasy? I guess if it's 6 for a passing touchdown, I'm leaning Dak just in general because Dak's not going to offer much on the ground. 4 for a passing touchdown, probably Drake May. This is Dak's worst case scenario, right? 2 rushing touchdowns because they got pass interference in the 1. Like Dak's going to still have a good year. I'm not worried about Dak. Yeah, game by game, right? It's ideally game by game, but I wouldn't choose one. If I was going to choose one, I'd still say Dak. We got to see what happens with Drake May. Unique. Christian McCaffrey on injury list. I picked up his backup Robinson Jr. for a reason. They won't rush him back. You're saying he's on the IR? I don't think that's true. If that's the case, the fucker's out for the year. No, that's not true. He popped up on the injury report. Right? That happened at like 7 o'clock. I'm not worried about that. No, CMC's not on IR. He missed a practice. It wasn't, dude. He was limited in a practice. So it's a calf. He's not on IR, though, dude. Where did you see this? Limited. Yeah. Just on it lands on the injury report. No, he's not on IR, man. Trust me, my phone would have been blowing up if that was the case. I mean, hey, dude, I wouldn't mind it. I have Brian Robinson Jr. everywhere. And only a couple CMC shares, but yeah, limited's fine. Like, dude, this is what, Thursday before the Sunday game? Like, Malik Neighbors didn't. I know it's different because we were coming off the injury. Malik Neighbors didn't practice like all off season. And are we worried about Malik Neighbors? Is anyone here worried about Malik Neighbors because he didn't practice? I'm not. He doesn't need to practice. Yeah, he's like Allen Iverson, right? Practice. We talking about fucking practice? No, I'm not worried about. I mean, McCaffrey is more of a concern because we have chronic issues here. Chronic stuff. I don't like that. Dom, I think Neighbors is the future best in the league. Yeah, I love Neighbors, man. He's exciting to watch play, but quarterback issue is a problem. Russell Wilson, here's the problem with Russell Wilson. He's a check down or deep guy. There's not a lot of intermediate work, and that's where Neighbors does his most damage. He can go deep. He can catch a short. I like Neighbors for fantasy this year. 180 targets incoming. I personally like Drake London and Nico Collins more. Call me crazy. Just saw that pass TD is 4 points. May still start Dak like you suggested. In a 4-point, you're going to be playing matchups all year, right? Because Drake May has, I'm not going to say Josh Allen level upside rushing, because we just saw Josh Allen have 14 rushing touchdowns. But I think he has 7 or 8 rushing touchdown upside, which is just going to smash anything Dak can do in that format. In a 6 for passing, rushing touchdown, passing touchdown doesn't make a difference. That's why I always lean pocket passers in 6. Scramblers in 4. Anyways, we're still rolling out here. Man, we've been going for over an hour. Hour and a half. Shit. What else you guys got for me? I have to take my dog on a walk here shortly. I actually have to finish this beer, so I got a little bit of time. I drink slow when I'm on here because I'm talking so much. When dudes are hitting him and he's cutting is what worries me, chronic issues. Yeah, with Achilles, bilateral Achilles tendonitis is what it is. Cutting is one thing. It's just the weight. When you get weight on you try to cut, he's more at risk than other players to get hurt. I think the point is we all know the upside of Christian McCaffrey, and we all know the risk of it. But it's so alluring because you're getting the number 1 player in fantasy, number 2 player, number 3 player most likely, if he's healthy, in that offense. Still a good player, but you're also possibly getting 12 games, maybe less. Williams, Dallas running back looked great. Unique, I've been saying it, bro. I've been saying it. Colin, you think I'm a genius? Eckler was a league winner, and I'll be honest, I'm the first one to take that L. I never saw Eckler coming. That was just, I can't believe how many touchdowns he scored as a pipsqueak. Fucking like 16 touchdowns, dude. So hope Lamb starts to catch his passes. The 4 drops tonight. Wow. You know what's crazy, though? CeeDee Lamb still had a good fantasy game, right? 19 PPR points. Could have been 28 PPR points, 29, 30, whatever. So CeeDee Lamb's a stud. The drops were a fucking problem. That's fucking rough. All right, I got a little bit more time left. 63 people in here. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. We're going for 2K, right? 2,000 subs by Sunday. We're going to start putting out a lot more stuff out here, man. A lot more of these videos. I mean, my buddy Story was in the chat. He's a G. Start doing little Zoom calls. He's going to set up. I don't do technology, man. Look at my hat, bro. I'm kind of Amish. Like, I do all the editing for the pod, though. So I love Family Guy. I put a lot of clips in there. I'm good at that stuff. But I'm not a technology. I'm 37, man. He's actually older than me, but Scatterbo take over Tracy Jr.'s spot. Too early to tell. Yes, Scatterbo will take over Tracy's spot, but that might be not like week 8. I mean, it's not anytime soon, barring injury. So I don't bank on that. But you didn't draft Scatterbo to be the starter early on. You drafted him as your RB3, most likely RB4, maybe RB5. So it's a wait and see kind of situation. He's like a handcuff plus. If Tracy gets hurt, he gets a job. If the Giants suck, he gets a job. Tracy fumbles a bunch, which could happen. He gets a job. Also, I hope Lamb starts to catch. Okay, we already got that one. 4 in a game is too much. I get that, man. Throw to Pickens. I mean, yeah, you're speaking my language. I want him to throw to Pickens. That's my like fucking motto, bro. Like for life, just throw to Pickens. I think Pickens is an elite receiver. Throw to Pickens. It never gets picked typically. It's like he catches it or it's broken up or it's overthrown. Typically, it's been overthrown, right? Combine both and they still suck. What is that referring to? MHB? Like I said, I'm like, dude, 15, 20 beers deep. I don't even know at this point. Very curious if old Pacheco is back tomorrow for the Chiefs. I have a good feeling he is, man. And I'm a little worried that I missed out on as many shares as I could have had because towards the end of drafts, I started taking Pollard over him. Mostly because I feel like Pollard is so safe for 22 touches in the first 5 to 6 weeks of the season, barring injury. And I get Chiefs' offense is way better. That could be a mistake. I just think Pollard's going to have more reception upside. I like Pacheco, man. I wouldn't be nervous about Pacheco. Like, I feel like he's much more of a floor play than an upside play. He's never a guy like I'm talking about Pollard. Pollard's a 20-plus touch guy. Was last year for Tennessee. Pacheco is a 15 to 18 touch guy. 14 carries, 3 catches, 16 carries, 2 catches. With touchdown upside, obviously, with the Chiefs. But I don't think they're going to use him as like a workhorse. So it's hard for him to be entering the RB1 conversation, where I think Pollard could enter that for at least 5 weeks. Once Spears comes back, it's going to taper off a bit for Pollard. But I recently, man, the last couple of years, I've been drafting. That's why I drafted Chuba Hubbard in like 80% of the leagues last year. I had Chuba Hubbard in fucking 15 leagues last year. Because I knew first month and a half, maybe 2 months, he was going to be the guy. And that was different because that was a 12th round pick. And a lot of guys want to draft for a late season, but if you don't get there, if you don't make the playoffs, and if you don't get a bye, it's hard to win 3 weeks in a row in fantasy. So I'm focusing on early season. I'll figure out the rest later. You still have waivers. You still have trades in home leagues. There's ways to get there. Play for the early part of the season more so. And that's what I think best ball is kind of steeped into our mentality, right? The best ball tournaments, it's all about like, oh, I got to get my lineups, look at my matchups for week 17, stack players. Redraft's not that, man. We want to start off safe. Injuries are going to find you. Don't find them. Get a solid lineup. Get guys you trust, guys you think can break out, and guys that are safe. And then you go from there, right? Starting off 3-0, such a big advantage. You have the poker chips at the table in your league. You can make the moves, right? You don't have to go search for them. People are going to try to get your players. You can pillage and purge the bad teams that are 0-4, right? And be like, oh, you have a bye week coming up? You're 0-4. You need to win. I want your stud player on bye. That's what's up. That's why starting fast is so good. Cooper is gone. Cooper retired, man. Rip Cooper. He retired with his original team. I passed on Pollard and Pacheco for Hampton. Well, yeah. Pollard and Pacheco are around 5 picks. Hampton's around 3 picks. So that's not like I would still want Hampton over those guys because Hampton has like the end of season first round draft grade upside of what J.K. Dobbins did last year plus, right? Better player, probably better role. We think Najee Harris is a bum. So that's where I'm looking. The problem is opportunity cost. You're paying a 3rd round pick for Hampton. Like I would much rather have Pollard or Pacheco in the 5th or 6th than Hampton in the 3rd. I'm not saying I hate Hampton in the 3rd. If you need a running back, you need a running back, right? Here's the problem, Unique, about he said he picked up Kareem Hunt as an insurance backup. I think Kareem Hunt's done. So I don't know what you're getting from Kareem Hunt. I don't know if I think that if Pacheco broke his leg tomorrow, God forbid, they're bringing someone else in, man. They like Brashard Smith there as a pass catcher. He's going to be the Jerick McKinnon role. Kareem Hunt's just old and dusty. Like, he might still have 5 touchdowns this year, but you're never going to know when to play him. If Pacheco got hurt, they're trading for Breece Hall. It's the Chiefs. They're doing something. I don't think Kareem Hunt's. I would much rather have Rico Dowdle. I know that's like he goes a lot earlier than Kareem Hunt. I would much rather have. I'm trying to think of some deep guys that would be better. Not Justice Hill. I'd rather have a guy like Woody Marks. I would rather have. Let's look. Obviously Tootin for sure, but he goes higher. Looking for possible 3rd string running backs. I mean, shit. Raheem Mostert, honestly. I'd rather have Raheem Mostert. I know it's wacky, but as of now, Mostert's the backup for Genty. And we've seen Mostert have a great year. Kareem Hunt's just old, man. I guess Mostert's old as shit too, but not Ollie Gordon's a 9th round pick. Was a 9th round pick to end draft, so I just don't. Kareem Hunt and Rashad Bateman and players like that, DeAndre Hopkins. Like Bateman's maybe not a good example, but they can never ascend their team's depth chart and be different than what they are, right? I don't like drafting floor for my bench. I like drafting upside for my bench. I'd rather have floor in my lineup. We thought we were drafting floor with A.J. Brown, didn't we? Shit. Elijah Mitchell, 3rd string. Okay, so Elijah Mitchell. I prefer Elijah Mitchell. Great point, Unique. I prefer Elijah Mitchell over Kareem Hunt. Now, Kareem Hunt, in terms of like best ball or like week to week with everyone healthy, Kareem Hunt will definitely outplay more snaps and more points than Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell would probably be a better candidate to start because he's got juice. Now, Elijah Mitchell can never play more than 2 games without getting hurt, but that's a good example. Now, that'd be close. I'm just saying, like, we just don't – the Chiefs' backfield's always a mess. And Pacheco kind of gives us some stability, but it's a mess. That's a good point. Washington rookie. JCM is just going so high. I see. I would rather have Chris Rodriguez than Kareem Hunt. Now, Chris Rodriguez is like the third. I think he's a second running back there. You got Eckler, and you have Rodriguez as like the goal line back. JCM, we'll see, man. I don't know. What's your over-under? What's the chat's over-under for JCM, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, as they call Bill? What's his touch number? Touches, carries, and catches for week 1. Playing the Giants at home. 7.5-point favorites. Dude, Mason goes 8th round, so he's not even in the handcuff discussion. He goes ahead of Charbonnet. Should I try to trade away CMC? Absolutely not, because you're gonna have panicked owners. You gotta stay with him. So, what is your JCM touch? What are we saying as a community? What's your over under for Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt touches week 1? I know what I'm setting it as. It's gonna be lower than probably most of you guys, but I want to hear the chat. I want to hear what you guys think. How many touches? We got 10 from Dom. That's low, but 10 under. He's taking 10 under. What else you got? Give me 3 numbers. I'll throw you out mine. What I would actually put it at if I was Vegas. Gregory, he says inactive. That's fucking great, bro. He just fucking made my heart laugh. 4th string on roster. I don't know if we want to look too much into that, but the Jaden Blue inactive thing kind of. So Gregory says inactive. I'm putting it at 8.5. That's catches and carries, and I would take the under, man. So I know it's week 1. He's a rookie. That's not really a ringing endorsement on the guy. Should we worry about AJ Brown, and what are your thoughts on starting Bo Nix? I am off Bo Nix for fantasy this year, generally from where he's going, but this is the week. Like, this is like a great chance. Tennessee, one of the top 5 worst defense in the league. They're going to just destroy him. So last year, Bo Nix, first 3 games, 0 touchdown passes. Then he ended up with 28 for the year, 26, 28. But he beat the fuck out of bad teams. Like, every time he played an under 500 team, he threw 3 or 4 touchdown passes. And I think he had one with 5 touchdowns. So this is one of those games. He when he faces a good team, he had 0 or 1. So this is one of those times where Bo Nix, Gregory loves Bo Nix. I saw a lot of people taking Bo Nix over Patrick Mahomes. I will never do that in fantasy. The slander's gone too far. I wouldn't really take quarterbacks in that range at all, though. Who booms in fantasy this week? Tucker Kraft. Okay, Tucker Kraft. He's going to boom all year, though, man. I know a lot of you guys are new to the channel. I've been talking about Tucker Kraft. The two of the sleepers, late guys I've been talking about all year, and I am 1 for 1 so far. I don't know. I guess I've been talking about George Pickens, but so maybe that's 1 for 2. So it was Pickens, it was Jevante Williams all year, and it was Tucker Kraft. So Tucker Kraft is my dude all year. I think he's a top 5 tight end. So you're saying Nix is Dak. Good point, because Dak does the same thing. No, I think Nix is still a young player, although he's an old rookie. And here's my worry, man. I don't, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys said something different, but CJ Stroud, quarterback 6 last year, drafted in fantasy. In MVP conversations, all that shit. I get his offensive line broke down. CJ Stroud was ass last year, right? CJ Stroud had a better or similar rookie year to Bo Nix. CJ Stroud was a 2nd overall pick in the NFL draft. So did anyone see CJ Stroud's shitty ass year 2 coming? Hit me up in the chat. Kraft scores way more touchdowns than Ingram. Ingram may have more catches. Like, Ingram could be a 70, 80 catch player, but Kraft's going to have 8, 9 touchdowns. So, did anyone see CJ Stroud's regression? It was an awful season. It's crazy to say they made the playoffs and actually won a playoff game, but statistically and eye test and regression-wise, he stepped back his 2nd year. Yes, you say Stroud was working with nothing and everyone was hurt. To start the year, he actually did have Diggs, and Tank Dell was hurt, playing through an injury. But he had Nico Collins. The offensive line fell apart. I'll give you that. What does Bo Nix have to work work with this year that's better than what CJ Stroud had. I get he has a better offensive line. It is better. But the weapons are not elite. It's similar situation. And who is better? Is Bo Nix a better player than CJ Stroud? Because it's easy to say that now, but honestly, I was never about CJ Stroud. I called it last year. I said bust. In fantasy, I said bust in fantasy. What quarterback 6? Oh, Jesus, doesn't rush. Terrible. I didn't think he was that good of a player, man. So I'm saying the same thing about Bo Nix this year, and it makes sense. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad for fantasy. He may return value, but he's not going to exceed the value at quarterback 7 you're taking him at. Real life, I think that he doesn't have to do much. That defense is top 2 in the league. And I don't think his weapons are that good. Mims is his number 2. I like Pat Bryant a lot. Okay, Dom says, no way, CJ is so much better. Well, we just saw CJ Stroud be quarterback. Granted, he doesn't rush as much, but I think Stroud was quarterback 26 in points per game last year. Just wrap your head around that right now. And you come at me and say Bo Nix is like the next coming of a top 7 quarterback. So it just has a lot of CJ Stroud vibes to me from last year, right? And I get it. I get that Sean Payton's a quarterback whisperer. He chose Bo Nix, and I understand what you're saying. But what's more likely? Bo Nix takes a major step forward and is an MVP candidate, or he takes a step back and he's just average. You should definitely start McCaffrey. Start McCaffrey, Joey. So what do you think is more likely? No, do not start Nick Chubb over McCaffrey. I love Nick Chubb this year for where you're drafting him in the 10th round. Don't do silly stuff. Yeah, sophomore slump is a real deal, even when you have a stat realignment. All right. Even Reed will have a stat. Yeah. I think Jaden Daniels may be in for. Now, the difference is Jaden Daniels will still be good for fantasy because has the actual cheat code of 800-plus rushing yards. Now, Nix is no slouch on the ground, but they're not going to need as much from him because their defense is so good. Do you think R.J. Harvey will take a bigger timeshare between Dobbins or the other way around? Dobbins is a vet and has proven. Dobbins will have he will outtouch. I would say Dobbins will outtouch Harvey the first 4 weeks. Weeks 5 through 6 and 7, it'll be a 60-40 to Harvey, but it will never be 80-20 either way. But I feel like at the midway point, Harvey will get the edge and the high value touches, right? Not necessarily goal line, but red zone and pass catching. League mate offered me Chubb and Robinson Jr. for McCaffrey and Hall. What? Chubb, are you getting Chubb and Robinson Jr. or are you getting McCaffrey and Hall? I mean, that's insane. Anyway, sorry to get in the Knicks. I could be totally wrong on Bo Nix, but like, I just feel like that it's just so steamed up, bro. And like certain things are so steamed. That's why like I watch a lot of these channels and all I hear is Ibuka. All I hear is Henderson. I hear the same motherfucking names. Like the rookies, Tyler Warren, and I like some of those guys. Like at cost, where they can go like Tyler Warren in the 6th round, absolutely not. They cut Tucker Kraft in the 9th. Travion Henderson in the 3rd. Like no one talks about Breece Hall. Like I like Henderson, but I'd taken Breece Hall in the 5th in like 3 different leagues in this last week. I'd like Breece Hall in the 5th over Travion in the 3rd. So you don't hear anyone talk about Chris Olave, right? Tucker Kraft. Jevante Williams, like all those guys on my PP, my 10 pillar players list we released a week ago. Like, I know they're not sexy names, right? Chris Olave's old news. Justin Fields is my boy. And like Justin Fields was getting talked about a lot, I feel like in July. I haven't heard much about Justin Fields because the preseason looked bad, right? He had 4 yards passing in the preseason. I don't give a fuck. Guy's going to run for 1,200 yards this year. Well, yeah, Breece Hall has name value, Anthony. So, yeah, he will go higher, but in like high money leagues I'm playing, Breece Hall is falling late 4th. Fuck yeah, dude. And I'm not even a Breece Hall guy. I think the Jets are going to be sneaky good this year, so. Get back to the scoreboard here. Anyways. What wide receiver would you flex, Joey? What Joey says Chuba Hubbard, McCaffrey are starting running back. Should I put Nick Chubb or Jerome Ford as a flex instead of wide receiver? Warren is a PPR machine this year. He'll be sobbing, dude. Aaron Rodgers gonna dump the goddamn ball down. Yeah, what wide receiver are we talking? Jets defense should be actually pretty good this year. I think the Jets are like their win total is 5.5. Now here's the problem with that. I think the Jets are going to be like competitive and good, as in like 8 or 9 wins, or they're going to just be trash. I don't see a lot of middle ground there, so I love the Jets alternate win total. You get like Jets 8.5, over 8.5 wins for like 4-1 odds. I want to hammer that because if Justin Fields hits it and he's confident and the defense is playing like it used to 2 years ago, I think they're going to hit that number. If they're bad, they're going to be really bad. So I like that one. Yeah, the Jets are +3 at home against the Steelers. So I think I like the Jets, man. Now, they say it's an Aaron Rodgers revenge game. It's also a Justin Fields revenge game. Both those guys played on the team 1 year. I mean, I know Rodgers on the roster for 2 years, but that's not really a revenge game. Brett Favre coming back to fucking Green Bay after 17 years is a revenge game. But NFL wants to spin that narrative, right? All right, I am winding down, boys. This has been about 2 hours. I appreciate everyone. I can answer a few more questions, hang out for a little bit longer. I got to finish this beer. But I do have to walk my dog, so. Dom says Mixon was a star in that system last year. I'll probably keep an old man Chubb. Green Bay defense or Baltimore's? I know I panicked. Season long. I mean, the thing is, both of them have bad week 1 matchups. You got Green Bay against Detroit, and you have Baltimore against the Bills. So I'm going to take Green Bay. Season long, better defense. Baltimore's defense fucking sucks, dude. They have no pressure. Kyle Hamilton's good. They got some good players, but their defense sucks. Any advice for my flex? Sorry, Joey. My wide receiver are Drake London, T. Higgins, and Xavier Worthy. My flex is Jerry Jeudy. So you're asking, should you play Chubb or Jerome Ford? And this is full PPR. I would play Jeudy, dude. Jeudy has, again, if you're not playing Jeudy now, you're never going to play him. How many weeks do you have of Joe Flacco, right? Against Cincinnati. Great matchup. I wouldn't get cute. I guess you could consider Jerome Ford, but I would. I play the wide receiver, man. And Nick Chubb is kind of a wait and see. If you see Nick Chubb come out and do what Jevante Williams did and handle not so much the touch number, it's a snap number. We saw Jevante Williams, I don't have the numbers in front of me, 75% of the snaps. If we see Nick Chubb like far and away the lead back and he looks spry, for me, Nick Chubb, the way he looks matters more than what Jevante looked because there's more behind Nick Chubb than there is behind Jevante. If he looks similar to what Nick Chubb was, this is wheels up, man, because I don't think Joe Mixon is playing this year. Thoughts on Minnesota versus Chicago? Whew, close to home, man. Dude, that's probably one of the hardest games. If I had to pick a game, that's like the hardest game to pick this year, spread or no spread, because I think that's like a spreadless game. That's probably it, man. I think Green Bay wins this week, too. Lions going to come out strong. They should, but Green Bay is a sleeping giant, dude. It's actually half PPR. I still think you go Jeudy, man. That makes it tougher, like with the Nick Chubb choice, but I think week 1, we don't want to overthink ourselves. I think you just go with the guy you drafted highest. Jerry Jeudy, if you're not starting him this week, you're not starting him all year because the Bengals have a shit defense. They're going to be losing. They're 6-point underdogs. They're at home. You have Joe Flacco. Fins crust Colts, huh? Well, I did see a stat today that the Colts are 0-10 their last 10 openers. They had a tie too, 0-10-1. So last 11 years they've gone 0-1 with one tie. Well, who wins Minnesota versus Chicago? I'm probably gonna say Minnesota, man. I'm from Chicago. I don't even want to make a pick because it's a toss-up. I can flip a fucking coin. Who do you think? What do you guys think? Who wins? I got Tim saying Fins crush Colts. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Dolphins generally start off really good week one. Tyreek Hill definitely starts off really good week one. But yeah, stick with your guys, man. That's the number one thing. Like later in the year, when you see it as a trend, right? Maybe get off your dudes. And like Jerry Judy's not exactly an example of like a must start, but this week would be a must start for Jerry Judy. Drew says I'm from Minnesota, so public all over Dolphins. I'll be taking Colts. What is the line of that game? Let's see. Colts by 1. Dude, that's a tough game, man. I don't know, dude. The Dolphins are a fucking dumpster fire, bro. So right now we got Pittsburgh down to -2.5. That's just in general. It's generally 3 in most places though. -1.5 for the Colts. Colts are at home. Again, my gambling show, just so you guys know, tomorrow it comes out at 7 p.m. Central. I mostly do prop bets. I did do one line. I'll give you that line, but if you want to see the props, you got to tune in. Let's see what the Bengals are. It's Bengals -5.5. Ooh, -4.5. Yeah, that's what it opened at. But yeah, Bengals -5.5. That's my bet. I don't bet lines. Lines are way too sharp. Over-unders are way too sharp. Maybe I do one, like at least on the show, I do 3 to 4 bets a week on record. I will do 4 or 5 lines a year out of 18 weeks. I'm a prop dude. So when I bet a line, the thing is, I actually am like 500 or under on the show on my lines. So maybe I'm just like crazy, but the Bengals are so bad week one every year. This is the year, baby. Like they have to just die. Not the year for them, but like this is the perfect storm of just a 21-point fucking destruction, right? +3 for the Raiders. I might take that. I think the Patriots are overvalued, man. For sure. I think that's going to be a really close game. Take the points when you can. It's over a field goal, right? That probably should be 3 or 2.5. I mean, the Patriots didn't play a lot of their starters in the preseason. Stephon Diggs hasn't played. Like, yes, Gregory, 5.5 seems low. I feel like the Bengals should be -7. I know it's on the road, but it should be -7.5. It's not really a road game. I get like the hostile crowd. I don't know how hostile Browns fans are these days. They're hostile towards the ownership and the players and the coaches, but it's same state, right? It's not really like it's not like going East Coast to West Coast. So I feel like it should be -7.5, right? I think the Vegas is banking in on the public knowing that the Bengals have gone like not just 0-1 the last 4 years of Joe Burrow. They've gone like 1-2 or 0-3 to start the year, and they've lost. Last year they lost to they lost to the Patriots, who had a 4.5 win total for the season, and this is similar. The Browns, and they lost that game. That's not happening again, man. Bro, Bengals line is terrible against big boys. So you don't like betting on the Bengals this week? I think they're just going to destroy them. I know maybe it seems too easy because it should be a touchdown. But like, are you trusting Joe Flacco? Are you trusting Cleveland is terrible, dude. And also Myles Garrett's hurt. Like, I don't know if he's going to miss the game, but what is this ad? We don't have ads on this motherfucking thing, dude. The fuck out of here, yeah. So what do you guys think about the Bengals one? That's my bet of the week. Again, I'm a prop guy. I'm not going to give you my 2 props. You got to subscribe to the channel and check out the show. 7 p.m. tomorrow night. As in tonight, technically, because it's 1:43. So Friday night, 7 p.m. betting show. 62% against the spread the last 3 years. I think I'm like I have the numbers right here. 107 and 67 against the spread the last 3 years. I do 3 bets a week, roughly. I mean, I bet a lot more of that on my own account, but this is what I put out. I really put my ones I'm very confident in, and 62% is I feel like good. I think it's like 55% is the number. Seems like a trap bet. Either they blow them out or the Bengals suck early, and I get the trap bet thing. It does seem like a trap bet. What I like about it being under 7 is you have the chance for. I think the Bengals, after like the last 4 years, how scared they are about like starting slow. If they just go up 14 points, the backdoor touchdown doesn't kill you, right? So even if the next thing at 5.5 is technically when a team scores a backdoor touchdown with 2 minutes left, a lot of times now that the analytics say go for 2, right? And if they go for 2, then they're down 6. You still cover that. So I don't know, man. I just see a different class of teams. I see a hungry Joe Burrow. I just see how much the Bengals played their players in preseason. Joe Burrow played more than any quarterback. That means something to me. They're just going to try to beat their brains in. Now, whether they can, it's a different story. But I guess my thing is, would you ever bet on the Browns plus 5.5? Like, that's kind of how I look at betting sometimes. I think of the other angle. Would I ever want to take the Browns in this game plus 5.5? What reason could I think of besides luck? Tom says no. Right. And that doesn't mean that it's a sure thing bet. I feel like it's a 65% chance they cover. Which, again, in betting and probabilities, like, if you do that enough, and this is my opinion, so I can't say it's true, but if you do that enough, I think you're going to be profitable. And I don't bet lines very much. This one just stuck out to me, and I feel like this could be one of those bets you win after halftime, where it's like 28-10, and the Browns don't have enough firepower to contend with Cincinnati. So, any other games you guys like? I was thinking, I want to look at this one. So, Arizona opened at 3.5. Now it's 6.5. But New Orleans, this is another similar situation, right? So, think about this. Arizona and New Orleans, I feel like they're the same team, right? They're both the bottom 2 teams in the league with questionable quarterbacks. New Orleans may be worse, unproven. But who's a better team, Arizona or the Bengals? Dom says the Chase Brown yards and TDs over this week. Yeah, he should go off. So we have the Cardinals minus 6.5. We have Bengals minus 5.5. Similar situation, both on the road. What team is better? What team is better, Saints or Browns? I think the Browns and Saints are equal, and I'm pretty sure the Bengals are better than the Cardinals. So why is it that, I guess maybe because Cincinnati-Cleveland's a division game? Is that why? Because it's a division game? Because, like, you got to think, Bengals are better than Cardinals, Saints and Cleveland are tied, same team. No, Browns had a good defense. It's average. Saints defense is trash. Okay, I'll give you that. But I think my thing is, I think the Cardinals, I actually do like the Cardinals this year, but I trust Joe Burrow more than I trust Kyler Murray. Like, that's got to be worth 2 or 3 points, right? At least I would think so. I would think it'd be worth that many points. So that's another interesting one I thought that I was thinking about. I think the game of the week in terms of betting, and I think the over might be the call here. It's Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Tampa Bay minus 2.5 on the road. I think I like the Falcons, dude. Yeah, probably 3.5 for Burrow alone, Dom says. And you got Higgins healthy, you got Chase Brown healthy. Like, game of the week, Tampa Bay, Atlanta. And I suppose, talking about like the blowout games, Denver, Tennessee at minus 8.5, minus 8 for Denver. That's another one of those. The problem is Denver could win by 7, you lose the bet. The Bengals could win by 6 and win the bet. But Denver at home against the Titans, I guess the X factor is, what if Cam Ward comes out and pulls a Cam Newton and plays good ball, right? There's a very big question mark with Tennessee and Cam Ward, where there's not really a question mark with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's throwing 2 interceptions, right? Like, I think he is. We got Niners minus 1.5. Dude, Seattle's tough, bro. 12th man. That's tough. Wow, Gregory said, I definitely see the Titans covering. The first string defense of Denver played 2 series in the second preseason game, and they didn't look that good. But again, preseason, schemes are different. Coaches aren't going to give away their secrets. Tampa D last year was the worst I watched last year, but Penix is a sophomore slump. I mean, can you even call it a sophomore slump when he played 3 games? See, I like this. I like this kind of gambling segment of going through the games. I don't bet too many lines, but I do throw some lines in parlays, and I like chatting it out with other people, right? Like different opinions. You can only watch so many YouTube shows. I know, like I currently am doing one, right? But I'm open to like other opinions, other facts, other like ways of seeing things, and I feel like those shows are kind of just gonna beat you over the head with the same shit of this is the way it's gonna be, this is the way it's gonna go. Maybe I did that with the Bengals, but I feel like the stars are aligning with the Bengals too fucking much there. Week 1, dude. If they lose this game, now I don't think they're gonna lose. They could win the game and not cover, but it's not like it's a 7-point line. They need this, dude. And they played Jacksonville week 2. They need this. Joe Burrow, dude, they can't keep on wasting. We all agree Joe Burrow is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. And yes, they went to the Super Bowl his 3rd year. But like they can't keep on wasting these prime years of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They can't. Trey Henderson now on a 1-year deal. They can't keep on wasting this shit. So like they got to get their ass in gear like early because they're fucking against Baltimore, dude. The Bills, Chiefs, Chargers. That AFC is a monster. Like getting that 1 seed, I don't think the Bengals are in play for that, but like getting a home playoff game, those things matter, dude. Like if you're gonna try to win 3 playoff games in the AFC on the road, 2 of them on the road, like good luck. You gotta face Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen, Denver possibly with that defense. He's like Peyton in his prime. Great, but can't win. I mean, it's hard to say because Peyton didn't win until he was 30, right? Peyton's first Super Bowl against my Bears, 2006. I believe Peyton was 30 when he won. So, technically, Peyton didn't go to a Super Bowl until he was 30 because he won the first one. Joe Burrow has actually been more successful in terms of like going to the Super Bowl. Like win-loss, no. Peyton won 12 games every year. Indy won 12 games every year. So it's just kind of different. Joe Burrow's elite, man. I feel like he's primed to just dominate. All right. I am winding down here. Any other games we want to look at? Maybe have a little chat about. Baltimore, Buffalo. Look at that fucking thing, dude. What a beauty of a game. That's our Sunday night game. Whew. And then Minnesota, Chicago. Look at those lines, dude. Both those lines, -1. Pick'ems, dude. Can we get better than that? Pick'ems, dude. Chiefs. Taylor Swift line. But, dude, all these games, primetime games at 3 o'clock. We have, wow, 3-point spread, 2-point spread, 2.5-point spread, and then we have the blood in Denver. But, dude, I'm excited, man. It's been a long time coming out. I've been streaming all my drafts. It's been 2 weeks of madness. But not only that, man, I've been on. If you go to the channel and look at all the previous videos, I've been grinding for about 3 months post NFL draft season on putting out content. Just finally getting to you guys more on the live streaming. I guess I'm honest, bro. Look at my hat, man. I didn't realize this is kind of the way to get shit going. What do you think? Rams record is 8-8. Well, 8-8 is impossible now because it's 17 games. Dude, Rams could be 12 wins or could be 6 wins. It's really banks on Puka's health and, more importantly, Matt Stafford's health. Because he's coming into the year at 38 years old, whatever he is, with a back injury. That's a problem. Although Sean McVay actually would still win 8 games with Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's not forget, Jimmy Garoppolo is probably a top 5 backup in the NFL. If you pair Jimmy Garoppolo with Sean McVay, you're going to get good success, right? What do you guys think? You think the Rams are, like, how much of a step back? Now, their Super Bowl contention, right, people are talking about without Matt Stafford goes out the window. I think they can still be a playoff team without Stafford. They have too many weapons. Their defense is young. Jared Verse. They got a young-ass core on defense and 2 elite receivers. All right. I got to call it, boys. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate it. Gregory, though, I think the NFC has caught up to the AFC. Tons of excellent teams. NFC is super deep. AFC, though, like, has all of the MVP candidates, right? All the elite quarterbacks, to where, like, the top 4 quarterbacks are in the AFC right now. And that's how the NFL is run, right? That's like where the hierarchy goes, is like elite quarterbacks. So I love the Lions, though, and obviously the Eagles are two. It's not as deep in terms of it's not as top heavy, but the NFC is deeper. AFC has a lot of bottom feeders, but it has your 4 or 5 juggernauts. All right. That's got to be it for me, though. A lot of comments. I appreciate it. If you guys haven't already subscribed, please do that before I sign off. And I'll probably do this again tomorrow after the game. I'll probably be drunk and excited after another football game. And then I'll be releasing my episode 7 o'clock tomorrow. It's the gambling segment. 3 bets you got to make. I gave you the one, the Bengals, but the other 2 prop bets I really love. And then we're also, God bless Tom. We're also going to do probably a Sunday, I would say 9:30 a.m. Central Time, a start-sit show. Bring your questions in, last-minute stuff. We'll go over the news. It's week 1, so it's not going to be as like important as week 2, week 3, week 4. But we're excited about football, so probably something you want to tune in for. If you like the show, if you want to, thank you for your support, boys. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon.